It is time. That is right. NBA preseason, only 2 days away. We got a showdown slate we're going to be talking about in this video. Dallas versus Minnesota. Welcome, guys. My name is DK again. I make content for NBA DFS, NFL DFS, as well as player prop sites like Prize Picks, Underdog, and Parlay Play. If you guys are not on Parlay Play, you can use the link down below for a $100 deposit match bonus, or use the code DKDFS linked in the description. All I gotta say is I just have had the biggest smile on my face because you guys know, I do like NFL. Like NFL, don't get me wrong, we've had a good season, we've had a great preseason, but NBA is that is my one true love. NBA DFS. And it's right around the corner. We're literally less than 48 hours away. We got an 11 a.m. Central showdown slate, which I'm excited about. We can wake up early, play some NBA DFS, and then we can play the NFL showdown slate later at night. So, yeah, I'm just super excited to talk about NBA DFS again. It feels like Summer League was just here. So the time flew by. Again, I cannot wait for the grind. I know if you do play NBA DFS every day, you're a sicko like me. It's a lot of work, but I love it. There's nothing more than I love than playing NBA DFS. So, yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the video. If you guys are looking for more content or DFS or player prop stuff, you can check my Patreon link down below. We killed it last year in NBA preseason, looking to do that again. We absolutely killed it in NFL preseason this year. Again, there's a really big edge with preseason DFS. And my advice to you is Twitter's going to be your best friend, right? And I'll have a ton more information posted on Patreon, constant updates, all that good stuff. But you have to be on top of things. It's all about news, right? So really, really is a pretty nice edge here for preseason DFS. And yeah, with all that being said, again, let's jump into it. So we'll start off with the Dallas side. And first, what I wanted to do is let's take a look at what the Mavericks did in their first preseason game last year. So both teams have the same coach. So I think we can expect similar-ish rotations. So last year, game one for the Mavericks, they really spread it out outside of a couple of guys. They played a couple young guys, 20-plus minutes, but everyone else really spread out the minutes. Luka Doncic did not play in the first preseason game last year. We'll see if he's going to play this year. He's still dealing with an injury, and he said he's going to play through it, but he's not 100%. So, the question is, do they want to push him here in the preseason? We'll see. I think there is a chance that Luka does not play in this game, but again, last year they started Dinwiddie, Green, Powell, Bullock, Finney-Smith. Green played 23 minutes, and then off the bench, you saw Christian Wood play 25 minutes, and Jaden Hardy played 24 minutes. McKinley Wright played 22, and then they kind of spread it out from there. So, again, Luka Doncic is 11-4. If Luka Doncic is playing, then obviously looks amazing, right? I think assuming Luka plays, I think a fair projection for starters minutes is probably 15 to 20-ish, maybe a little over 20 if you're a younger player, fully healthy, right? So Luka, let's say if Luka plays and he plays 15 minutes, he's still probably going to be in the winning lineup, right? So would obviously love Luka if he does play. Now, if Luka Doncic does not play, then would assume Kyrie Irving is the go-to guy, and he would look really good as a spend-up. I'm not really interested in guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. at 7-4. That's just way too pricey for me. Josh Green at 6K. Also, I wanted to mention that the Mavericks have been playing this starting lineup in practice of Luka, Kyrie, Prosper, Grant Williams, and Derek Lively. We'll see if that's what they run out for the game on Thursday. I think there's still a chance that Josh Green could start over one of those guys, but yeah, like I said, I think the price points are too high in guys like Hardaway and Green. Again, with preseason DFS, they're going to spread out the minutes, so you really want to focus on guys who are going to be good point per minute guys, right? Not really as interested in the guy Seth Curry either. One guy that I really am high on is going to be Jaden Hardy, right? Young guy, and I expect him to probably play the most of anyone here on Dallas. And he's going to be a relatively high usage player when he's on the court, right? Again, last year in the first preseason game, he played 24 minutes, went for 21 points, 1 board, 1 assist. And if you played Summer League DFS, like he's going to chuck when he's out there. He's going to be a high usage player. And at this price point, I think he stands out as one of the best values on the board, that being Hardy. So again, Hardaway Jr., Green, not really interested in them. Love Hardy. Seth Curry, no real strong takes there. I'm not really interested in Maxi Kleba at 4-2. Some interesting values here for Dallas, though, are going to be those rookies, right? You got Lively at 4K, and you got Prosper at 2K. I assume these guys are going to push for 20-ish minutes, right? I think Dallas really wants to see what they have in the rookies, and there's no reason, in my opinion, to play vets like Maxi Kleba and Dwight Powell a lot of minutes, right? Or Rashawn Holmes. There's not a need to do that. Where these young guys, those are the guys I expect the most minutes from. So Lively 4K, I think is a really solid value. Prosper at 2K, I like a good amount. What else? Grant Williams also reportedly, and don't be worried about these questionable tags. DraftKings is I don't know why they have them on a lot of these guys, but I wouldn't worry or read into that at all. But Grant Williams, if he does start at 2.6K, I would have a little bit of interest in him, just because I would assume if he starts, he's pushing for, I don't know, high teens to low 20s minutes. The issue with Grant Williams, though, is he's not a good point per minute guy. So you'd probably have to hope he can knock down a couple corner threes or something when he is on the court. What else? Not really interested in Markieff Morris. I don't really know how many minutes he's going to play. Derrick Jones Jr., no thanks. Rashawn Holmes, I guess, is a little bit interesting just because he's not a bad point per minute guy, but there's a question of how many minutes is he going to play. Another guy I'll mention too, rookie Mike Miles. He was solid in the Summer League for Dallas, and another relatively high usage player. When he's on the court, he's going to chuck it. So do have a little bit interested in Mike Miles. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to play, right? So I think that's it for Dallas. Let's move on to Minnesota. Minnesota, not a ton of news out there right now. Again, I'll be posting a lot of updates over on Patreon, but I assume they're going to run their normal starters of Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, McDaniels, Cat, and Gobert. If you take a look at their first preseason game last year for the Timberwolves, you saw Noel start with Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, McDaniels, and slow-mo. They did not play Gobert, did not play Cat. I think one or both are dealing with injuries. I forget. But yeah, so I think they'll run the normal starters unless we hear otherwise. And I would assume the younger guys probably play a little bit more. So Anthony Edwards, I think could push for 20 plus minutes. I think he's probably the guy in the starting lineup I'd feel the most confident about minutes wise. But Cat, Gobert, right? If they start, I think they're gonna push for high teens to low 20s. So of these top end guys, I think Anthony Edwards would be my favorite option, 9.4K. You're getting him at a little bit of a discount as opposed to guys like Kyrie and Luka Doncic. And I do think Anthony Edwards plays more than those guys. So I think he looks like a really, really good spend up. I think Ant's going to have a big year this year. So like him quite a bit. Of these secondary options with Cat, Gobert, Conley, McDaniels, I think Cat would be the next guy I would look to just because I expect him to be, high usage player when he's out there, good point per minute. Obviously, good rebounder. They're number 2 on offense behind Ant. So it's Ant and Cat for me. Not as interested in a guy like Gobert or, Dusty Mike Conley. No thank you to those guys in the preseason. McDaniels is 5K. I think he's reasonable. He's probably another guy that'll play similar minutes to Anthony Edwards. I think these guys can push for 20 plus minutes. So with a guy like McDaniels, he had a solid year last year and he can have decent games. Not a super, super high usage player, but I do expect him to play a good amount of minutes on Thursday. So I think he's a solid value play. Off the bench, slow-mo should get some decent run. He's a guy that can stuff a stat sheet, but again, a veteran. How much is he going to play? There are some interesting values here that, guys I'm looking to would be my boy, NAW, and Naz Reid. We know how good of a point per minute Naz Reid is, right? And if you give him 15 minutes off the bench, he's probably going to be in the winning lineup. So I really like Naz Reid here at that price point. If you take a look, again, last year he started. He went for 9 points, 4 boards. I assume he probably had a blocker steal in there too. Just super productive player, over fantasy point per minute guy. And so I really like Naz Reid, and I like NAW too. He had a good year last year for Minnesota. I expect him and Naz Reid to kind of run that second unit. So those two, in my opinion, look really, really good. And then I have some interest in some of these younger guys. Leonard Miller is 4.6K. He was solid in the Summer League. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. I expect him to get decent run. Wendell Moore last year, I want to say he barely played. He played 10 minutes. Josh Minot played 9 minutes. I could see Minot, Miller, Moore getting a little bit more run. Probably the guys to look to would be Miller and Minot. Both, again, good point per minute. Outside of those guys, not really interested in Matt Ryan or Troy Brown or McLaughlin. I do have a little bit interested in Shake Milton at 2K. I think he's another guy that will get decent minutes off the bench. And we saw, for Philadelphia, right? When the 76ers were missing guards, Shake Milton could step into a role and be relatively productive, right? So $2,000, I think he's an interesting value. And Luka Garza is another guy that will be very productive when he's on the court. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to play, right? Kind of on the end of the bench. So like last year, Garza, what did he play? He only played 4 minutes. So that is the worry with kind of like those third string guys is there's just not going to be a lot of minutes left over for those guys. But yeah, again, outside of the top end guys, I think my favorite plays off the bench, assuming again they run those starters, would be NAW and Naz Reid. But some of these younger guys, there's also some interest in Leonard Miller, Minot, and then even a guy like Shake Milton. Garza, I just don't know how many minutes, again, he's going to play. But if you're confident Garza can push for 10-plus minutes, then I definitely would have some interest in at $2,000. All right, so that's going to do it for the player-by-player breakdown. Like I said, guys, I'll have a lot more content posted on Patreon, a lot of updates, player poll, all that good stuff. And yes, we have this showdown is Thursday, then the day off Friday, and I think we have 2 games Saturday, and then we start getting into the grind of it. I think there's like 5 or 6 games Sunday, games Monday, Tuesday. It's games like every single day from there on out. So get ready for a great season. I am so excited to play some NBA DFS, and excited. Thanks again for watching, guys. As always, if you do enjoy, just make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see you guys all in the next video.